My desk clock says it's 6:56 p.m. Now 6:57. My car clock is also wrong. And we have this automatic feeder for our cats, and it rotated an hour earlier than usual. And I'm like, I have more clocks that are wrong than are right now. I'm not going to complain too much because, you know, it's kind of a ridiculous thing to complain about. I grew up in the 1980s and 1990s where when it was daylight savings, you'd usually pick up most of your clocks and go, what time is it? And they'd forever be off by like a minute for like the rest of the year. But the one I get annoyed about is the clock in my car. Because like the cat automatic feeder, I'm like, you got a computer in there because the computer is saying every 24 hours, rotate to an open section of food so the cats get more food. So I'm a little annoyed that you didn't build in some kind of daylight savings operator, but I understand, you know, to have the processing power to store a date is probably a little bit more expensive, maybe. It's not like you can't do it, it's just you probably decided not to. And the clock on my wall, or on my desk, it's a manual clock, or an analog clock, so it doesn't have a computer in it at all. But my car is Kit from Knight Rider. Like, I can get in and push a button and say, like, well, through a very... It always cracks me up, like, I think we're gonna look back at voice navigation, or voice controls, in like 10 years, and people are gonna be like, did you really have to talk like that? Yeah. Navigation. Entering navigation menu. Find POI. Finding. Point of interest. Donbo Ramen. It takes 10 seconds. Found destination. Please please press the speech button followed by a line number to make your selection. It's just like, it's antiquated. This is not how human beings normally talk. I understand you gotta filter through the computer lens, but the computer doesn't meet me halfway in my interpretation. I have to enunciate so much. Navigation. Find POI. I sound like the movie phone guy. A little bit of a dated reference, but you know what? Seinfeld made it timeless. But I'm like, you have a GPS that connects to satellites. You can tell me when there's been a traffic accident, and yet nobody at the factory was like, you know what we should put in this thing? A little daylight saving. I've built a daylight savings calculator. It's the easiest thing. Oh my god, we ruined our chance there. It's the easiest thing in the world. To not be able to, like, I just don't understand. You can, I tell you my airline, you tell me what terminal of the airport to drive to, what the distance is, what the weather is, where to turn. Oh, watch out, there's been an accident on Canby Street. Don't take that way, you want to take Southwest Marine Drive instead. When it comes to daylight savings, the computer is just like, this is beyond me, dude. You're on your own. It really, and it's, I'm taking the bit a little bit past the point of sanity into some logical extreme territory, but it makes you wonder. You're like, I'm trusting this thing to control, like, to save me if I get in a car accident. It's like got crumple zones and side airbags and, you know, etc., etc. I'm not sure if I can rely on you when you can't even give me accurate daylight savings time information. The computer is just like instantaneous. This car was built in 2015. It's not like daylight, maybe it was built in Arizona, where there was no daylight savings time. I think you guys got it going on. In Arizona, there's a lot, I know you have a history of doing things your own way. Some of that I agree with, some of it I don't. Let's just say that not succumbing to daylight savings time, that's one of the ones I do agree with. Admittedly, for me, it's easy, because I don't go outside very often. So whether there's, you know, whether there's daylight savings or not doesn't matter that much to me. It's more of like a minor inconvenience to change the time. You got kids and they're waiting for a school bus. I understand, you know, because I've been there. I lived, you know, pretty far north. Not by Canadian or Norwegian standards, but by like global standards, yeah. Live pretty far north, you know, you go to school in the wintertime, you leave when it's dark, you get on that school bus, you get home when it's dark. Help. But as an adult and policymaker, I very much desire daylight savings to end. I don't need it. That would be my plea if I ever got up in the House of Commons, which is the Canadian version of the Senate, basically. Members of Parliament, lords and ladies of the Senate, I don't leave my house that often. Whether you do or don't, you got to admit, it's a hassle to always be changing your clocks. I mean, come on, how many of you out there are driving 2015 Ford vehicles? I mean, they got a GPS in them, but yet somehow they don't change with daylight savings time? Come on. What do we expect to believe is happening at that ramshackle operation back there? You guys looking for a software engineer? Anyway, the point is, daylight savings is stupid. If your kids are waiting for the bus at the end of the driveway in darkness, hey, go take your cup of tea outside and wait with them. Spend some quality time with your kids, because before you know it, they're going to be going off to Western University, partying up, drinking some Lakeport Reds. So, you know, spend time with them. Anyway, the whole point is, I'd like to formally request that you bar Ford Canada from doing business, and daylight savings time should be scrubbed forever. Thank you so much. And they would give me a standing ovation. My God. We haven't experienced such eloquence in the House of Commons. Let's do it more Canadian. My God. Haven't experienced such elegance in the House of Commons since the days of Sir Robert Borden, eh? The common cold. Wow, I hate you. I liked you for a second there, but then at the end I decided didn't like you as much as I thought I did. The run's still good. It really is. You're really hitting me with all the ailments, both mental and physical right now, aren't you? We got a lot of damage. We got good HP. I'll call it and say that even if we just get trash items for the rest of the run, we're in a decent spot. You know, if we pick up a couple of HP upgrades and maybe on top of that we throw in rate of fire increase or something like that, because we are still at default in that respect. I think we got a reasonable chance at a victory here. Very glad I didn't even try to commit to a 20-minute lamb kill, because this is not the run. Early Magic Mush had me tricked. This is not going to be the correct opportunity to try to make that happen. And I'll take a deal with the devil or the angel at this point. Either one of them is fine by me. Whoop. I don't like daylight savings. It affects me more. The older I get, the more it affects me. And I'm starting to realize, you know, when I was in my teenage years, oh, I shouldn't have dodged right into that, but luckily we were saved. We need to go. Oh my God, how have we not been hit? Starting to realize, you know, as I get older, things affect me more. Getting some gray in the beard. People go, aren't you 29? I say, shut up. Went bald at, ooh, Pentagram's good. Yeah, we'll take them both, see what we get. Guppy's Hairball is fine as a Guppy enabler. Plan C is horrible, obviously. Reroll that. Multidimensional Baby, it's okay. I went bald when I was 19 years old. And people said, hey, look on the bright side. At least you're not going to go gray. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to put that theory to the test. I'm mostly... I'm not upset about going gray. I really don't mind getting older, honestly. I know it's a recurring theme in these episodes. I think, you know, to get older is a privilege not everybody has access to. And I'm really, like, I was never... Let's go. Like, an Olympian. I was never an Olympic caliber athlete to begin with. So, the fact that, you know, I'm sort of probably cresting over what would be my physical prime if I ever exercise doesn't bother me too much, but what does bother me about getting a little bit of gray hair in the beard is I'm like, I have to shave more often now. Not because I'm embarrassed about the fact that I have gray hair, but it just, like, it does look better now when I shave it. And I'm like, man, that's a 10-minute chore I used to do once a week. And now I'm gonna have to do it like 3 times a week. Or rather just not do it and then deal with, you know, it looking kind of scruffy. But at the same time, it's like, as you get older, especially, you know, when you retire, that's when you're supposed to have free time. Cricket's body is so good here. And in every situation. Here, there, and everywhere. Your life should get easier. as you get older. That's my personal philosophy on life. And that's definitely like the opposite of how it works. Like, your life is definitely not the easiest when you're first born. You don't have anything to do. Like, a baby has no tasks. But if we had Curse of the Blind on like every friggin' floor. But a baby has like some pretty important tasks. Like, you think about what a baby does in like the first few years of its life. Oh, it just sits there, does nothing. Yeah, learns to read, learns to walk, learns to talk, learns a language, and, you know, grows triple in size. Now, some of us have been working on that final one for the past few years, but at the same time, that baby has a huge to-do list. Your life is really the easiest, at least, like, on average. I can't believe we still made Boss Rush. I'm not gonna do it, because we don't even know what the items are. That's, like, my one condition. I think your life's probably the easiest when you're, like, 12. And I understand everybody's school experience is different, but, like, and kids can be jerks at any age, but middle school is, like, a common choice for when kids are at their worst. But you've grown. You're not quite an adult. All you really gotta do is show up at school, at least in North America. You show up at school, you know, you don't goof off too much, you hang out with your friends, play video games when you get home, do a little bit of homework. That's an easy life. After that, you know, it's next year is high school. You got a more perilous social situations. You got, you know, you're worried about college in a lot of situations as well. You got to get your driver's license. You know, you're learning what it means to be an adult as well. You know, people expect more of you. You turn 18, all of a sudden you got responsibilities. You know, you might be in college, you might be working a job. You can vote. You can buy things that are like really bad for you. And you know, you're like, well, you can buy candy as a kid. Yeah, but candy is like, is bad for you, but like, the other ones are a lot worse. I would say, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I think cigarettes and alcohol are worse for you than candy, if they're consumed chronically. But I don't know, now that I'm questioning it. Probably, I don't know. What do you think's worse? On a health standpoint, cigarettes or alcohol? If you were to consume them, like, chronically. I'm gonna guess alcohol, but cigarettes would be, or candy. I don't know. You know, probably a better question for a doctor. Anyway, graduate from college, you know, friends around you, starting to become successful, maybe fit into careers, you want to join them there. You know, things get busier and busier. So all this is really just a roundabout way for me to say, hey, body, don't make me shave more often, okay? I already, like, you might say, NL, it's pretty petty to be worried about, you know, an extra 10-minute chore once or twice a week. Yeah, but, like, it adds up, dude. And also, like, you're right. Without a doubt, but I just don't want to. I don't want to grow a beard either, though. It's not like I'm worried about the beard looking gross, mostly. It's, my face feels weird when it has a beard. You probably get used to it, but, like, it's the combination. I always get, like, 8 days into growing a beard. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm like, this is cool. Day 5, I'm like, ooh, starting to get a little long. Day 6 and 7, I'm like, this is about as long as I like it. And after day 8, I'm like, it feels like there's something on my face, and I don't like it anymore. It's not even itchy, it's just something's there. Please, Lord. The run is fine, but it would be really, really nice